Hey, welcome back everybody. My name is Marla. Thank you for joining me this morning. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside. There's some blue sky peeking through, a little bit of sunshine threatening to shine upon us. So let's get this party started here, shall we? Today we are going to be practicing a style of yoga called vinyasa. It just means to flow vigorously, matching your movement to your breath. As with any vinyasa practice, please feel free to personalize this practice however you like. Slow it down, speed it up. If you are familiar with some of the poses that we're practicing here today, feel free to embellish them however you like. So there's many different variations, and so you can take your practice to whatever level you are comfortable and familiar with. I do ask though that we let go of competition with our past selves, even if that was just 2 weeks ago. Ask that we let go of judgment and expectation, coming to your mat each and every time as if it is your very first time coming to the mat. Today we are going to be practicing the stretch, flex, and balance, aka gentle yoga. So we're going to slow it down just a little bit, but again, feel free to personalize your practice however you like. We are going to begin lying down, so go ahead and ease yourselves on back into any supine position that feels good. Having a block or a strap somewhere near might be a welcome prop to have. If you don't have a block, you can always use a book, a nice big thick book. And if you don't have a strap, anything long will do. You can use your husband's tie or sleeve of your sweatshirt, or even an extra long sock will do just well. So as we go ahead and just begin to ease ourselves on back into this supine position. Take a couple of moments, take a couple of nice big deep breaths, a heavy sigh or two, and begin to create that space between yourself and the outside world. The more space that you have between yourself and the outside world, then the deeper you will be able to bring your awareness inward. So giving ourselves here a moment to just check in with ourselves. Notice how we feel, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. In these times, you might notice that you're feeling a little anxious, a little stressed. Know that you are not the only one. It is certainly a different world out there, and who knows what's going to happen on the other side. But that's okay. That's where we practice letting go of expectation, keeping our minds open, coming to this world as if it is our very first time. An opportunity to recreate, to restart, to reinvent, to begin again. So as you close your eyes, begin here by bringing awareness to your breath. Inhaling very deeply through the nose and exhaling through the nose. We start to feel the coolness of the air as we inhale, and we begin to feel its warmth as we exhale. And as our breath becomes deeper, elongated, stretched out, we begin to feel the gentle rise and fall of the chest and the slow, steady expansion of the abdomen. The moment that you begin to find yourself wandering off your mat, outside your room, outside your house, come back. Stay here. Come back to the nuances of the breath. It'll help to ground you into this space, this here and now. And as we begin to build into that deep 3-part breath, we become more intentional, a little bit more mindful in our breathing. Inhaling very deeply through the nose and exhaling through the nose. We begin to notice a brief pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. A moment of suspension between inhale and exhale. And as we strive to expand this portion of the breath as well, trusting that the next breath will come, the next exhale will be released. With your next breath in, draw it all the way in and use your diaphragm to push that breath all the way down to the bottoms of the lungs. Hold it there. Let it expand, let it get big, let it create space. Feel the fullness of that breath. And as you exhale, slowly begin to draw the belly button deep into the spine and hold there. Notice the emptiness. Allow yourself here to begin to feel the thirst for your next breath in. And when you slowly drink in that next deep breath, it is the best breath of the day. Fully intentional, mindful, and purposeful. Now is a wonderful time to begin to weave a positive thought, a powerful I am statement, a prayer, a hope, just a positive thought into your breath. Breathing with intention, letting go with purpose. I breathe in, I breathe out, I am present. And with your next inhale, as we slowly begin to awaken, we'll start to find a little wiggle in our fingers and a little wiggle in our toes. And with an inhale, we'll begin to reach the hands up to the sky, back towards the wall behind you, and point your toes, lengthen your legs, get a little longer on one side and then a little longer on the other. As you exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Let your fingertips wrap around the shin. Draw your nose to your knee. Energize out through the pads of the feet. Spread your toes nice and wide. And then inhale again as you lengthen. Find that little side bend to the right. A little side bend to the left. And as you exhale, draw your left knee into the chest. Draw your nose to your knees. Energize out through the bottoms of the pads of the feet. Spread your toes. And inhale again as you lengthen. With the fingertips reaching up and reaching back, we create lift and length. And then as you exhale, you can draw both knees into the chest. You can continue to alternate knees, or you can continue to draw both knees into the chest at the same time. This is your first vinyasa. It's your introduction to movement with breath. I invite you here to keep your eyes closed and truly strive to make that connection between movement and breath. It's a great way to start the day, just to remind ourselves to be mindful in both our movements and in our breathing. It'll help us to keep us here in this present moment. So as you continue to flow through this first vinyasa, we begin to scan the body from head to toe, noticing any areas that are tight or fatigued, overworked, or overplayed, and allowing those tensions to float away with the breath. We'll go one more time through this full body stretch, making it the biggest, deepest, best breath of the day, and then we'll all come to meet with both knees drawn into the chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side to massage out the low back. And if you stack your knees right on top of your hips and use your fingertips to guide the knees in little circles, then you can massage out the sacral section of the spine. So it all depends on where you need that self-care the most. With our next inhale, we'll bring our right fingertips to the outside of the left knee. Left arm opens up into a T. And as we exhale, we'll gently guide ourselves into a spinal twist. Remember here that you can modify by first drawing the heels down to the mat and then lowering the knees to the right. Or you can slip that block or book underneath the right knee to bring the floor a little closer. Take a big deep breath in right here. Fill all the way up, feeling that space in the left side body, and stay for your exhale. With our next inhale, we'll gently draw the knees back on up to center and exhale to slowly release to the left. Your left fingertips applying gentle pressure to the outside of the right knee, allowing the shoulders to continue to melt into the mat. softening the tongue, softening the jaw. Take another breath in here. And stay for your exhale, letting yourself just kind of melt into the mat. And then with our next inhale, we'll again draw the knees back on up to center. We're going to meet in legs up the wall, heels pressing straight up to the sky. Pressing the lumbar spine down into the mat, we draw the belly button in towards the spine. We begin here to feel this lengthening into the hamstrings. So as we energize out through the bottoms of the heels, we begin to also feel lengthening into that area behind the knees and into the calves. We strive here to stack ankles on top of knees, on top of hips. When my boys were smaller, they would sit on my heels and watch TV, and it felt so good on the lower back. We'll take one more big deep breath in right here, and as we exhale, we'll set our heels back down onto the mat. From here, we're going to heel toe walk our feet much wider than hip distance apart, feeling the edges of the mat the pinky toes coming to the edge of the mat. And then from here, we'll just slowly knock our knees from one side to the other. Noticing here the range of motion in the hips. I notice that my right knee can dip a little lower than my left knee, but I've always had a tightness in the left hip. And again, here we make these observations without any judgment. There's no good or bad or right or wrong. We're just exploring and noticing how we feel. Fantastic. With our next inhale, we'll go ahead and again draw those knees back on up to center. Give yourself that little rock from side to side, realign the spine, and then we'll set our right heel down onto the mat. We're going to cross our left ankle over our right knee. Take a moment here to just flex your left foot, spread your toes, and then without using your hand yet, see how far you can move your left knee up towards that upper left-hand corner of the room. Again, here exploring the range of motion in the hips. And then as we press the lumbar spine down into the mat, so we find this little bit of a pelvic tilt, draw the belly button in, and you might begin to notice a little bit more opening here into that left hip flexor. Then we'll use the left hand to gently press the left knee away from the body. And you can stay right here. If you'd like to change this pose up, you can move into an upside down pigeon. So with an inhale, we draw the right knee into the chest. The left hand slips in between the legs to join the right hand behind the knee. We brace our left elbow up against the left inner thigh, and as we draw that right knee in closer, we use that left elbow to press the left knee away. You can continue to flex and point that right foot, work out all those little cracks and all of those little pops. Take one more big deep breath in right here. And then our exhale will set that right foot back down onto the mat. From here, we're just going to heel toe walk that right foot just about an inch to the left. And then you might just scoot your hips just an inch to the left as well. Fill up with breath, and as we exhale, we'll let that right knee fall towards the right. So it's going to guide that left foot down to the mat. Again, here we want the upper body, the shoulders to remain relaxed. Arms can be wherever they are comfortable. And then you can stay right here, or you can change up the pose by bringing your right fingertips down to the outside of the left knee to draw that knee closer towards the earth. This is going to give you a greater stretch into that left outer hip, or you might press the left knee away from the body to further open up the hip flexor. You might just let gravity in your breath work for you. We'll take one more big deep breath in right here. And stay for your exhale. Again, just allowing yourself to release and let go. And then with our next inhale, we'll draw the knees back on up to center. Give yourself again here that little rock from side to side to realign the spine. And then we'll set the left heel down onto the mat and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Flex your right foot, spread your toes, and then without yet using your right hand, begin to move your right knee towards the upper right hand corner of your mat. Again, here just exploring the range of motion. And then when you're ready, right hand comes to the inner thigh, and we begin to press that right knee away. Again, here now, draw the belly button in, press the lumbar spine down into the mat. Take a breath. Push it all the way down, let it create space and let it expand around the hips, around the low back. Notice what you notice, feel what you feel. And then when you're ready, you can move into that upside down pigeon. Right hand slips in between the legs to join the left hand behind the knee. Right elbow braces up against the right inner thigh so that even as we draw the left knee in close, we press the right knee away. Take a big deep breath in. And again, stay for your exhale, finding just a little bit deeper expression of the pose. Ooh, I had lots of cracks and pops in that one. One more breath in here with your exhale. Slowly release the left heel back down onto the mat. Again, walking the heel toe, walk the left foot, scooch the hips, and with your exhale, go ahead and let that left knee fall to the left. And then again here, you can change up this pose. You can draw the right knee closer towards the earth. Or you can press the right knee away. It all depends on what you need. Take one more breath in here. As always, stay longer if you'd like. And with our next inhale, we'll slowly draw that right knee back on up to center. Left knee comes to join it. Again, give yourself a little rock from side to side to massage out the low back. And then we'll take support behind the knees and we'll begin to rock and roll ourselves into an easy seated position. Now, as you rock and roll yourselves, you're going to tuck in the chin and round the shoulders. And you can take as many of these rocks and rolls as you need to. So as we begin to rock and roll, getting lots of space between the vertebrae, and then we'll come into that easy seated position. Fantastic. Give yourself a couple of nice big shoulder shrugs to the back. Remember to grab a little drink of water whenever you need one. Rest when you need to. As we come into this easy seated position here, we know that not everybody's easy seated position is the same. If this is uncomfortable and crisscross applesauce is just not your thing, go ahead and kick a leg out. You can even kick both legs out. It is truly whatever allows you to sit up nice and tall and breathe easy. You might even find that sitting up onto a pillow or sitting up onto a block can help to raise the hips to alleviate pain or discomfort that you might have in the hips or in the knees. We allow our hands here to rest comfortably on the knees, palm side up or palm side down, whichever is preferred, or even just folded gently in the lap. With every inhale here, we sit up just a little bit taller, reaching up through the crown of the head. With every exhale, we begin to grow roots as we root down into the sits bones. At the same time, we begin to lift through the pelvic floor and draw the belly button in towards the spine, creating this root lock called Mula Bandha. We come back to that three-part breath. We come back to our intention. We continue to create space between ourselves and the outside world. With our next inhale, as we slowly sweep the arms up to the sky, our exhale will release our right fingertips down onto the mat. Left fingertips reaching up and over. We use our right hand to gently press the floor away from the body, and then soften the elbow, drawing it into the rib cage, creating space here between the ear and the shoulder so that we're not leaning into that right hand. Take another breath in here, and with an exhale, we'll begin to soften now the heart down towards the right knee. As we reach the left fingertips far away from the body, we get all this wonderful length here through the left side body. Take a breath in, feel that natural rise of the upper body, and with an exhale, we'll sweep the left arm across the short edge of the mat in front of us, and inhale again to sweep the arms back up to the sky. Our exhale will release the left hand. And as we begin to move into that side bend, we again draw the left elbow into the rib cage. Continue to root into the sits bones. Take a breath in, and with an exhale, we'll then soften the heart now down towards the left knee. Right fingertips reaching away from the body to get that wonderful lengthening. I feel it all the way down to my hips. And with an exhale, it's that grand sweep. We're going to go one more time on each side. Movement to breath. Knowing that you can linger in any aspect of this vinyasa that you need to. Sometimes lingering in that side bend feels really good. Sometimes lingering in the forward fold can be wonderful on the back. We'll come to meet with our hands to the mat behind the hips. Coming up high onto the fingertips, inhaling to lift the heart and lift the gaze. Now take one more big deep breath in right here. And exhale to release. Perfect. We're going to begin here to find our way into a neutral tabletop position. So find your path of least resistance to get there. For those of you who join me at the Y in my stretch and flex classes, you know that that generally I teach off the mat. I'm always observing, I'm always watching and cueing from what I'm seeing my yogis either doing or not doing. And the people who come to my classes really make up my class in general, because I know favorite poses of some or not so favorite poses of the others. So cueing from what my body is looking for and what I am doing is it's like a throwback. So bear with me, and once again, know that you can personalize this practice however you like. So as we come into that neutral tabletop position, setting ourselves up for our humble cat and cow. As we begin to flow, we'll inhale as we drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze. And exhale to round out the back, tuck in the tailbone and tuck in the chin. Flowing freely through cat and cow, adding in any other movements that feel good. And as always, lingering where it feels best or is most needed. We're going to go one more time through both cow and cat. Again, you're just striving to make that connection between movement and breath. And then we're going to come to meet right here in this neutral tabletop position. Perfect. From here, we'll set ourselves up for thread the needle. We're going to find just a little bit of space between the knees, and then we're going to walk the hands back and towards the body. This encourages us to engage here into the core so that we're not leaning all the way down into the hands. So come up high here onto your fingertips. Thread the needle is going to combine a twist with a shoulder opener. So with an inhale here, we're going to reach that left hand back towards the corner of the room. I like to use my right hand to press the floor away from the body so that I can spiral the rib cage a little further around the spine. And then dropping the shoulder down away from the ear, finding even a little bend in that left elbow to open up that left shoulder. And then as we exhale, we'll thread the left hand beneath the right shoulder. I like to strive to reach those left fingertips as far away from the body as I can before releasing the left shoulder down to the mat. Get myself a little bit further into the picture here. From here, your hips can stay high, or you can sink them down low. Again, it's totally up to you. We strive to tuck that left shoulder beneath, and then you can use your right hand to start to press the floor away from the body. You might bring your palms here to heart center, striving to bring the heart center towards the thumbs. You might open up the right hand to the sky, or slip the right hand behind the low back, reaching down towards your left thigh. Wherever it is you find yourself, take a moment, close your eyes, take a big deep breath in, and stay for your exhale. With our next inhale, the right hand returns to the mat, and we slowly unwind, using that whole inhale to unwind and open up the chest, and we'll return to all fours. Give yourself a round of cat and cow. And just notice again how you feel. Setting ourselves up for thread the needle on the other side. Again, a little bit of space between the knees. Walk the hands back in towards the body. And then with an inhale, we'll open up that right arm towards the sky. Left hand might press the floor away from the body. Notice how that gets me a little bit further into that twist. Drop the right shoulder, maybe a little bend in the elbow to really open up through the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll thread the right hand beneath the left shoulder. You can stay here. You can bring the palms to heart center. You might open up the left arm to the sky, or you might bind the pose. Take a big deep breath in. And stay for your exhale. One more big deep breath in. Left hand comes down to the mat. With our next inhale, we'll slowly unwind. Right hand reaching back towards the corner of the room. We use our whole inhale to get there. And we'll again return to all fours. Another round here of cat and cow. And we'll come to meet in child's pose. As you begin to sink the hips down towards the heels here in child's pose, let the forehead rest comfortably down onto the mat. If the forehead doesn't come all the way down onto the mat, stack your forearms one on top of the other, or stack your fists. And then slowly roll your head from side to side. We're striving here to massage out that space between the eyebrows. Oftentimes, we get this furrow, and it collects there with thought, worry, concentration. And who doesn't have a lot of thought and worry and concentration right now? So take a moment. Let it go. Take a big deep breath in. Restate your intention. Be here now. With our next inhale, we'll find our extended child's pose. So as our hands begin to reach out towards the short edge of the mat in front of us, we take a quick glance up and we notice that the hands are about shoulder distance apart or even just a little bit wider. Setting ourselves up for our first modified half series, if we extend those hands out as far as we can while keeping the shoulders tucked into their sockets, there should be little to no need for adjustment as we flow through this next vinyasa. So with an inhale, we'll begin to shift the weight of the body forward, coming into a modified plank. Now, as always, you're more than welcome to curl the toes under and lift the knees for a full plank. But this is gentle yoga, as Doug would remind me. Take a big deep breath in right here, and as we exhale, we'll begin to lower slowly into crocodile. So you're going to keep those elbows hugged into the rib cage, and we're going to lower all the way down onto the belly. Uncurl the toes, root the toenails into the mat, and draw the shoulders down and back. Our inhale will lift the gaze and lift the heart. Draw the shoulders down and back, broaden the collarbone, and exhale, release. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heart, root the pelvis, root the tops of the feet, and exhale, release. This time, if you'd like to take that back bend a little bit further, you can begin to press the floor away from the body. Just remember to draw those shoulders down away from the ears. Your exhale here is child's pose. So be mindful and purposeful as you begin to sink the hips down towards the heels in this child's pose. Get lots of space in the lumbar spine. With our next inhale, we'll again lift the hips, curl the toes, and exhale, press back into downward facing dog. So just a reminder that downward facing dog and child's pose are interchangeable poses. From downward facing dog, we'll all inhale as we lift the heels up high, deeply bend the knees, and as you exhale, step or hop the feet forward, forward fold. Our inhale is a half lift, and exhale to fold. And we'll soften the knees, and we'll inhale to rise all the way to the top, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Your exhale is standing camel pose. So as we slip our hands into our imaginary back pockets, we begin by rooting down into all four corners of the feet. Pick up your toes, spread them wide, and then return them lightly to the mat. Roll the shoulders down and back, and with your inhale, breathe into the space behind the heart. So we're creating this lift and length. Gently press the hips forward. Take one more breath in here. And our exhale will find us in our mountain pose. Perfect. If your journey didn't bring you to the top edge of your mat, go ahead and step on up. As we find ourselves now standing in this strong mountain pose, here our feet are about hip distance apart. And that's not our perceived hip distance apart, but actual hip distance apart. It's roughly 2 fists in between the big toes. Toes point straight out over the short edge of the mat. Pick up all 10 toes, spread them wide, and begin here to notice the 4 corners of the feet. It's the ball of the big toe, the pinky toe, and then the backs of the heels. As you start to press your feet down and out, imagine that you're standing on a piece of paper, and you're going to try to rip that paper apart using just the force of the feet. You should feel a lift into the inner arch. You should feel the ankles grow in stability. The knees become active coming up the fronts of the legs. Your tailbone is just slightly tucked. We draw the belly button in, and we begin to lift through the pelvic floor. So there's a lot going on now here in the lower half of the body. Roll the shoulders down and back. Reach up through the crown of the head. And as we bring the palms to heart center, we'll inhale as we press the palms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Our inhale is a half lift. And exhale to fold. Soften the knees, and we'll inhale to rise. Lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Enjoy that little back bend right up at the top. And exhale, sink back into chair. So now remember, chair pose can be as forgiving or as challenging as you want it to be, so just listen to your body. A quick glance down, we can see the toes just beyond the knee. If you were to fall over in chair pose, you would fall over backwards. Tailbone just slightly tucked, draw the belly button in, lift through the pelvic floor. Relax the shoulders. Take just a moment right here to close your eyes. Continue to press the feet down and out to draw the inner thighs in together. Stay for your exhale. Our inhale, we'll sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift. And exhale, fold. From here, we'll be moving into a twist. So a block or a book, or again, something to bring the floor a little bit closer, might be a welcome thing. We're going to keep our left fingertips firmly down onto the mat or onto a block. Begin here to deeply bend the left knee and start to drop the left hip. We want to keep our right knee as straight as possible without locking it into place. So this is where having a block to bring the floor a little bit closer is useful. With an inhale, we're just going to find just a little half lift. So we're just bringing our gaze out towards the short edge of the mat in front of us. And this is going to keep our spine nice and long. And then with our next inhale, right fingertips are going to trace the left arm to the shoulder, across the collarbone, and then up towards the sky. Left hand again here, pressing the floor away. You can feel this in my hip. Big deep breath in. And exhale, fold. Inhale for a half lift. And exhale to fold. Soften the knees. Inhale to rise. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Your exhale here is a little back bend. So again, you can move into that camel pose, hands coming to the low back for support, or you can gold post your arms to really open up the chest. Lighten the heart. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Right hand remains planted firmly down onto the mat, or again, use a block. A deep bend in the right knee. We start to drop the right hip. Left knee remains straight without locking it into place. A block or a book is helpful. Left fingertips begin to trace the right arm to the shoulder, across the collarbone, and then up towards the sky. Press into all four corners of each foot. Take another big deep breath in. And exhale to fold. Inhale for a half lift. And exhale as we fold. Soften the knees and we'll inhale to rise. Again, all the way to the top. Lifting the heart, lifting the gaze. Exhale, sink back into chair. And as we again here bring our palms to heart center. Nice yoga pants, right? Man, wish I had some that would just stay up. Perfect. So we have a little bit of mindful movement coming up here. Know that if at any time you need to just reach out and touch something, please feel free to do so. From here, we're going to begin to shift the weight into the left leg. We're going to draw that right heel in towards the right glute. So we're squeezing that hamstring, squeezing the glute. We're heavy in the left heel. With an inhale, as we sweep the arms up to the sky, the right knee will float halfway up to the chest for our one-legged Tadasana. Take a big deep breath in right here, and as we exhale, we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee, and we'll sink back into our gentleman's chair. Flex the right foot, spread the toes, and then just as we did when we were on our backs, we're going to begin to move that right knee down towards the upper right-hand corner of the mat. Think here about pressing your sits bones back towards the short edge of the mat behind you. Flex your right foot, spread your toes. Find a focal point and breathe. We'll take one more big deep breath in right here. See if you can sink just a little lower with that exhale. And then with an inhale, we'll again press the palms up to the sky. Right knee floats. And exhale into mountain pose. Shake out the legs, roll the shoulders down and back. Grab a little drink of water if you need one. I do. And then we'll move on to the other side. Palms coming to heart center. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And we'll inhale to press the palms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift. And exhale, fold. This is your discombobulating forward fold before balance pose. I know how you all appreciate that. Well, again, inhale for a half lift. Just to feel that lengthening through the hamstrings. Exhale to fold, soften the knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, sink back into chair. Palms come to heart center. Find your focal point and breathe. Shifting the weight into the right foot, we'll inhale as we draw our left heel into the glute. Squeezing the hamstring, squeezing the glute. Heavy in the right heel. Our inhale will then press the palms up to the sky. Left knee floats halfway up to the chest. And our exhale is gentleman's chair. As that left ankle comes across the right knee, flex the left foot, spread the toes. And then here again, moving that left knee down towards that upper left-hand corner of the mat. Sits bones press back towards the short edge of the mat behind you. Lift through the pelvic floor. Draw the belly button in. And breathe. Take one more big deep breath in. Sink a little lower here if you can. And then we'll inhale to press the palms back up to the sky. And exhale. 2 feet on the floor. Awesome. Shake out the legs, roll the shoulders. And then we'll again bring the palms to heart center. Inhaling as we press the palms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. With our hands on the mat beside the feet, we'll step back with the right foot. Hands come back behind the toes, and we're going to gently melt the right knee down into the mat. You can uncurl the toes. And here's we start to get heavy in the hips. Drawing the belly button, the heart center, and then the forehead forward, like you're going to try to peek out over the short edge of the mat in front of you. This is a great place here to use a block to bring the floor a little bit closer if you'd like. We're going to take this pose here just a little bit further, and we're going to draw that right heel in towards the body. Now you can stay just right here like this. If you'd like to add a twist into the pose, right hand remains grounded. You can heel toe walk that left foot out to the side just a little, and we'll inhale as we reach that left arm back up towards the sky. You could bind the pose if that is in your practice. If not, remember, there is no judgment, no expectation, and no competition. Take one more big deep breath in. And our exhale, we'll bring that left hand back down to the mat. Perfect. From here, we're going to inhale as we begin to shift the weight of the hips back towards the right heel. Left leg goes long, toes point straight up to the sky. As we move here into this half split, reminding ourselves that if we were to just sit back onto that right heel, we're not doing much for that left hamstring. To get that wonderful stretch into the left hamstring, we press forward with our heart. We always lead with the heart, not with the head, right? That is your life advice for today. Lead with the heart. Beautiful. With our next inhale, we'll begin to shift the weight of the hips back up towards that left foot. We're going to curl the right toes under and lift the right knee. All right. Are you guys ready for a little bit of fun, a little bit of mindful movement? We're going to do a jump switch right here. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale as we jump, switch. Got that? Want to do it again? Jump, switch. One more time. Jump, switch. Got that? You can do that as much as you want on your own time. From here, we're going to melt that left knee down into the mat. Sink into the hips, get heavy. Belly button, heart center, and then the forehead. Draw forward like you're going to peek out over the short edge of your mat. Great place again here to use a block. And then we're going to take it just a little bit further if you want. Remember, everything that I say is just a suggestion, truly. When you're ready, we'll draw that left heel in towards the glute. So kind of just as we did in that standing chair pose. And then you can stay right here, or you can move into a twist. From that twist, you might bind the pose. Take one more big deep breath in. And our exhale will return us to that low lunge. From here, we'll inhale as we begin to shift the weight of the hips back towards the left heel. Our right toes fly to the sky. And then we're drawing back on that right hip to get that lengthening through that right hamstring. Heart pressing down towards that right thigh. Use your breath. With our next inhale, as we slowly shift the weight of the body forward, we'll curl the left toes under and lift the left knee. No more jump switches, unless of course you want to because it was fun. We'll step back with the front foot. Downward facing dog. Now as you take just a couple of moments here in downward facing dog, finding a little bit of movement, a little bicycling the heels down to the mat, close your eyes. Notice how your entire body feels. From downward facing dog, we'll inhale to slowly lower the knees back down onto the mat, and exhale, press back into child's pose. From child's pose, we'll inhale as we slowly walk the hands back and towards the body. And as we come to sit up onto the heels, we'll shift our weight to one side and swing our legs out in front of us and move down to the edge of the mat. Before we make our way into Shavasana, please feel free to move through any other poses or postures that I didn't get to that you were really hoping for, or anything else that your body is craving. I invite you to turn on some music, dim the lights, and settle yourself into stillness. Reminding ourselves that we begin in stillness and we end in stillness. And it is here within this stillness that we again give ourselves an opportunity to observe, to notice how we feel, to check in. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And right now there might be a lot to check into. And that's okay. Acknowledge the existence of the chaos. It is with the acknowledgement of the existence that we can begin to let it go. Letting go of judgment, letting go of competition, letting go of expectation of ourselves, of our neighbors, of our communities, of those around us. We cannot all be the same. Everybody has a slightly different point of view because we cannot all occupy the same space to see the situation from the exact same point of view. So be open-minded, be patient, be hopeful, but most importantly, just be. Thank you for inviting me into your home, into your space, and for allowing me to guide you through this yoga class. Again, find your perfect piece of music, dim the lights, and settle yourself into Shavasana. Take as much time as you need. Peace be with you all. Namaste.